All right, hello and welcome to this training. As you can see from the title, what we're going to be covering today is the 30-day financial repair plan. And as you can see from the overview, what we're going to be talking about more specifically is first the overview itself, then financial visibility, monthly constants, daily tracking, monthly control, the review, and your action items for the day or the next few days. Before we get started, if you want to work with me one-on-one, make sure to book a call from the link in the description or the pinned comments. If you want this training along with its respective document, then make sure to join the free community from the link in the description. And if you want weekly newsletters helping you improve in every aspect of your life, then make sure to join the free newsletter from the link in the description. With that said, let's get started and talk about financial visibility. So if you have 30 days to fix your finances, your first job is really not to become an investor or download a budgeting app or start watching videos about the market. Your first job is way simpler. You need to find out what your life actually costs every single month, down to the regular payments, the repeated categories, and the small charges you normally ignore. Now, most people think they know what they spend, but they usually only know the obvious pieces. They know their housing costs, maybe their phone bill, maybe a few debt payments, and then everything else falls in the blurry, vague, normal life category. And that's where a lot of financial stress comes from. One purchase rarely is the problem. One subscription rarely ruins the whole month. The pattern of repeated money leaving without being planned or accounted for is really what slowly creates the feeling that you're working, earning, trying, pushing, and still somehow staying in one place. So your goal in the first few days is really to just remove all that mystery. You're not judging the numbers yet. You're just collecting them so that the month becomes a bit more visible. So you open every place where money moves in and or out. That means checking accounts, card accounts, saving accounts, payment apps, business accounts if you have them, and any other account that receives income or pays expenses. You want the full picture. And don't lie to yourself here or close your eyes to some things. Don't judge the numbers either. You've been ignoring them for so long precisely because you've been judging yourself about them. And then look back 60 to 90 days. Now, 90 is best. That gives you enough history to see what repeats, what changes, and what is draining money. You do not need a year of data to begin. And do this without shame. You're not opening your accounts to punish yourself. Now, once the accounts are open, start with subscriptions and recurring payments. This is the easiest place to create instant clarity, and it is usually where people find money that has been leaving for months without any thought behind it. And then put every recurring payment into a spreadsheet. Add the name, the amount, the billing date, the payment method, the category, and a simple decision column where you mark it as keep, cancel, reduce, or review. And keep the sheet simple enough so that you can actually use it over the long term. Then include any streaming services, apps, software, memberships, insurance, storage, gyms, paid communities, business tools, phone add-ons, and old trials that have become real bills. And if it repeats, it belongs on the list. If it feels too small to matter, it still belongs on the list. Then add the subscriptions together so you can see the monthly subscription cost as one number. And this is very important because a few small charges feel harmless by themselves, but the total shows you what they're actually doing to your life. Then put the billing dates into your calendar. The point is not to scare yourself with reminders, but to see the payments before they come through. The point is to see the payment before it hits so you can actually plan around it so you know that it's coming. When the date is visible, the payment won't feel surprising or like an interruption. Too many people go to a restaurant and can't pay the bill because some subscription hit them that day. It becomes part of the plan if you know that it's coming, right? And that one change, I think, will remove a lot of that unnecessary stress because it makes you feel like you're back in control. Now, once recurring payments are visible, separate the fixed costs from everything else. Now, fixed costs are the expenses that are mostly already decided before the month begins. So they form the baseline your income has to carry before you make any optional decision. This includes housing, utilities, phone, internet, insurance, loan payments, minimum debt payments, transport passes, childcare, tax set-asides, business tools, medical costs, anything else that repeats with a predictable amount. So your categories may look different, but the principle is the same. Anything that comes back every month in the same amount needs a place. And you want one plain answer here. How much money is already accounted for before you buy food, go anywhere, see anyone, or spend on anything flexible. And that number will tell you how your month looks before it even starts. If your fixed costs are too high, life will feel tight before you make a single normal purchase. And that pressure is the baseline showing you that too much money is already being committed. Then add fixed bills to the calendar as well. Payment dates, due dates, renewal dates, debt payments dates, and paydays all belong where you can actually see them on your calendar. If it affects your money, it shouldn't live only in your memory. So seeing dates helps you notice crowded periods. Maybe the first week of the month is heavy and you need to plan for it. Maybe several charges hit right before payday. You need to know that in advance. And a monthly budget tells you the total. A calendar shows you the timing, and you need both if you want the month to feel actually manageable. Now, once subscriptions and fixed costs are in front of you, make clean decisions on what to keep, what to reduce, and what to remove. Do not leave everything as a vague maybe. So keep the expenses that clearly support your life, work, health, learning, relationships, or actual real enjoyment. You just need to stop paying for things that no longer do anything for you. And cancel anything you forgot about, don't use, don't value, or would not choose again today. If you have not used something in months, just cut it. And reduce anything that matters but costs too much at the moment. That could mean downgrading a plan or negotiating a bill or changing providers or removing extras you never use. Now, for anything unclear, give it one short review window, meaning let's say a month in which you decide whether to keep it or not, whether you're going to use it or not realistically. Use it this month or cancel it at the next reset. And then put the review date in the calendar. If you don't put the date on the decision will probably disappear. Scarcity loves vague intentions. So by the end of this part, you should know your subscription total, your fixed monthly costs, your payment dates, and which recurring charges are staying. And that's the first layer of control. Now, this first section creates the base for everything else. Once the repeated payments are known, the month already feels different. You can see what's coming, you can see what is unnecessary, and you can see what has to be paid before any flexible spending begins. And the relief does not always come from saving money immediately. Sometimes the first relief comes from finally being able to see the whole picture, finally being able to see the shape of the problem, because a problem well stated, as we all know, is a problem half solved. From here, the work becomes more practical. After the recurring payments and fixed costs are clear, you move to the categories that normally feel variable. So after the fixed costs are clear, turn the variable categories into monthly cost constants. You need to stop treating normal expenses like unpredictable surprises. Give them planned amounts before the month begins. I know you think that a lot of your expenses are variable, but if you look back in time and you look at the average, you'll see that they're actually very constant. So groceries, eating out, transport, personal spending, gifts, household items, clothing, health costs, business expenses, entertainment, random purchases, all of these feel variable when they have no number. But they don't need to stay variable. You can decide the monthly amount up front. The way you do that is by going back in time. So a constant doesn't mean that the exact same purchase happens every week. It means that the category has a clear monthly limit. You can choose what happens inside the category, but the category itself has a number. And this will remove a lot of that daily negotiation. You're just watching the category against its planned monthly amount. So you look back 60 to 90 days again and write down what you spent in each variable category. This could be groceries. This could be any other variable category. It could be going out, for example, to eat at restaurants. It could be dates. Use your real transactions, not your memory. So actually open up your bank account, look at what you've spent over the last 90 days on these categories, because memory will usually make you look way more disciplined than numbers do. So let's say one category was $430 or euros one month, 510 the next, and 470 the next. Then you have a range now. It's between 430 and 510. If I were you, I would choose the highest number here. So the highest realistic number is usually the safest starting point for that category. Now, highest realistic number doesn't mean an outlier month where everything went wrong. It means the upper edge of what's actually normal. Now, what that will do is it will give you the highest amount that you can spend for that category based on your actual historical data for that category. So let's say it's 510. If you spend less than 510 this month on this specific category, then you're pleasantly surprised, right? So it's better to plan for the worst case scenario here. Now, once the history is visible, choose a monthly constant for each flexible category, each variable quote unquote category. This is where the spreadsheet becomes more than a list of all transactions and becomes the plan for the next month. So let's say if food at home has been landing between $800 or euros and 1,000, then you might set the monthly constant at 1,000, right? And then you know ahead of time, this is the highest you can spend based on your actual historical data, or you can choose a lower number if you're intentionally reducing the category. And the number should be chosen before the month starts though. That's the key. So you can split the monthly number into weekly amounts if that helps you in any way. So $1,000 or euro monthly food budget can become roughly 250 per week. Now that makes spacing easier and gives you some earlier feedback if it helps. And if the number is too low, you'll find out quickly. It means that the plan needs either more money in that category or a real behavior change to support the lower number. So eating out, hobbies, entertainment, clothing, gifts, personal purchases, these seem variable, but they need the same treatment. Now, these categories aren't necessarily bad, they just need a planned amount so they don't quietly take money from your savings or your debt payoff or your stability. A planned lifestyle amount will give you permission to spend without guilt, and the money is already going to be assigned, so you can enjoy it without the pretending that the category doesn't exist. Now, when the category is used up, the category is used up. That's it. That is where the plan becomes real, because sticking to the boundary is the real test here. It might be hard at first, but it will become a habit over time. After every variable has a constant, add everything together. Fixed costs plus subscriptions plus variable constants equals your real monthly cost of life. This number is one of the most important numbers in your financial life. Your monthly life cost tells you what it costs to keep your current life running. And I think most people don't know what that number is. They just know vaguely the rough amount, but you're going to know with precision. So it includes the boring things, the necessary things, the flexible things, and the recurring things. It's not your dream budget, it's the real cost of the life you're currently living or choosing to live next month. Once you know this number, you can see whether your income can support your life. You can see what needs to change. This number may feel uncomfortable at first, and that's fine, because a number that hurts a little is still more useful than not knowing at all. Ignorance is not bliss when it comes to personal finances. So monthly income minus monthly life cost gives you your financial gap. If the number is positive, then you have room. If the number is 0, then you're surviving, but you're not really building, basically, if you're breaking even. If the number is negative, then your life currently costs more than your income can support. If there's a negative gap, don't judge yourself on it. This is why you've been most likely overspending, because you're constantly judging yourself on your spending. It's really just a math problem. You can now see the amount that needs to be fixed through lower expenses, higher income, or both. Now, a positive gap needs an assignment. Money with no assignment tends to disappear into convenience or upgrades and small choices. So you need to give the surplus a job before the month starts. You need to put it somewhere, especially if you have the habit of spending all the money you have. If your income is stable, then use the after-tax amount that reliably arrives. If your income changes, then use the most conservative number you've gotten so far. Don't build your life on your best month. Build it on your worst one, meaning the lowest amount you've gotten so far in terms of income. I know this sounds crazy, but believe me, it will give you a lot of peace of mind. Now, if your income moves up and down, use the lowest recent month or a careful average. This makes the plan feel less exciting, quote unquote, on paper, but it's going to be much more predictable in real life. And then keep extra income separate in the spreadsheet. So when extra money comes in, just assign it to savings or debt payoff or investing or emergency fund or taxes or business growth or buffer. Don't let it disappear into any unplanned spending. Now, once income and life costs are clear, set a savings target. Start with what the gap actually allows you to start with. Being super motivated to save as much as possible is good, but it doesn't replace the math. So a savings goal that ignores the numbers will become another reason you feel behind. So if your income is 4,500 and life costs 3,800, then you have a gap of 700, right? A 500 savings target may work here. A 1,500 savings target means you need to cut 800, earn 800, or choose a different target for now. And then keep some room if possible. A plan with no buffer breaks when normal life happens. So even a small margin can keep the month stable and stop one unexpected expense from ruining the whole plan. Now, when the gap and savings target are clear, the next move becomes obvious. If you want to save more, pay debt faster, or invest consistently, you either need to reduce your expenses, increase your income, or do both. That is the real truth underneath most personal finance advice. Now, if you need to make cuts, start with low value spending, meaning forgotten subscriptions, unused services, overpriced bills, loose eating out, convenience spending, and careless categories. Cut where the pain is low and the savings are actually substantial. Now, if a category needs to come down, build support around it. What does that mean? Well, if, for example, your eating out needs to come down, then plan meals, set weekly limits, remove saved cards, shop with a list, delay non-essential purchases, or create a simple rule that makes the new number easier to follow. The goal isn't an amazing month that you can never repeat again. The goal is a normal month that works and you can actually repeat over time. Now, if cutting is not enough, then income becomes the focus, obviously. Better work, more clients, stronger offers, extra hours, sales, freelance projects, or a stronger business model. All of these can be options, and they may matter more than squeezing another tiny amount out of reducing one category. So this is where the spreadsheet also gives you power. You can see whether your problem is spending, income, or both. That keeps you from wasting months trying to solve the wrong problem. Once every variable has become a constant, the month will no longer feel like a mystery. You know what life costs, you know what the income supports, and you know what target is actually possible for you. So, with that said, let's cover daily tracking. So once the budget exists, open the spreadsheet every single day. Even if you spent nothing and made nothing that day, open it and mark the day. If you can't get yourself to do this one habit, I don't know how you're going to get yourself to save money and fix your finances. So this is foundational. If you can't check a spreadsheet once a day for 5 minutes, then I don't know what you're expecting of yourself. This is the habit that keeps the whole system alive. So a budget you don't check is useless. It may look organized, you may look cool in front of your friends and people and sound smart, but it's not guiding your behavior, right? Daily tracking is what turns the budget into feedback you can use while the month is still happening. Now, for expenses, enter the date, category, description, amount, and payment method. Keep it simple because you're obviously not trying to create a complicated accounting process here. We're just talking about tracking our income and expenses. You're keeping the month visible. For income, enter the date, the source, the description, and the amount. If no money came in, just mark the day complete anyway. The point is the daily touch point. Then choose a time that fits your life. Morning for the previous day works really well. Evening for the same day works also well. Right after checking your accounts works. The exact time matters less than making it a daily action. Now, most people don't even check their bank accounts every day, let alone going on a spreadsheet and actually entering the amounts they spent. If the tracker is too complicated, you'll stop using it, by the way. So keep the categories consistent, keep it simple, keep the sheet easy to open. The best system is the one you still use when you're busy, tired, or not in the mood. So keep the sheet somewhere in your favorites on your computer or on your phone, easy to access. Every entry will give you proof of what actually happened on the day before or on this day. And that way you gain a lot more clarity around how much you're actually spending. Now, the spreadsheet should keep running totals as well. You want total spend this month, total income this month, current profit or loss, remaining budget, remaining savings target, and remaining category amounts if possible. This lets you compare the plan against reality before the month is actually over. So if a category is at 70% used halfway through the month, then you know. If personal spending is moving too fast, then you know. If income is behind, then you know. The value is really seeing the number early enough to be able to adjust. Finding out on day 10 is useful. Finding out after the month ends only explains what already happened, and you can only use it if you change the next month. A running total changes how you think about spending, because you'll see that purchases aren't separate little moments. You'll start seeing that each purchase is a bigger picture inside the month. Now, add a simple projection if the spreadsheet can do it. If you have spent $1,000 or euros by day 10 and the month has 30 days, the sheet can now show you that your current pace is leading you to spend maybe $3,000 in that month. That warning will give you some time to change the outcome. And when the projection is visible, you can also slow down while there is still time. You can delay a purchase. You can move a meal out. You can reduce your personal spending. You can use what you already have. You can move money from one category with some room left. So you still have choices in the middle of the month. That is the whole point. You're not waiting for the damage report after everything is finished. Now, the budget tells you what should happen. The tracker tells you what is happening. The calendar tells you when it's happening, right? You need all of those if you want the month to stay honest. The budget gives the month a shape before it starts. It decides the constants, the targets, and the limits. It gives you your money a structure you can follow. And the tracker compares that structure against daily life. It shows you where your plan was accurate and where it was too optimistic. And that feedback will make the next month a lot better. The calendar also shows you exactly when it's happening, so you know ahead of time. If a category is always over budget, then you learn something useful. Maybe the number is unrealistic for this season of your life. Maybe the behavior needs to change. Maybe the category needs to be split into smaller subcategories so you can see where the issue really is. Now, daily tracking lets you correct the month while you're still inside it. You see the movement while there is still time to respond within the month. If spending is high, then you reduce the remaining days, right? You pause non-essential purchases. You use the information to make a calm decision instead of waiting for anxiety to force one on you later. And if income is lower than expected, you'll notice it early as well. And that may mean reducing spending for the rest of the month. It might mean following up on some invoices or making more offers or picking up some extra work or delaying anything that is not urgent. Now, I know the daily tracker may feel annoying at first. That's normal. Useful habits often feel very awkward at first before they start feeling calming. So the trick is to make the habit so simple and so easy that you can repeat it every day. Don't add an emotional story to every purchase. Just enter the number and the category. A coffee is just a number. A grocery trip is just a number. A bill is just a number. The spreadsheet is just there to show you what's happening in reality. So if you miss one day, enter it tomorrow. If you miss 3 days, catch up from your transactions in your bank account. Missing a day is not the problem. Quitting the habit consistently and completely is the problem. The discipline is opening the sheet every day. As the running total becomes normal, your behavior will start changing just by the fact that you're actually seeing it, right? What gets measured gets improved. So you see the month as one connected number. You become less likely to spend blindly when you can actually see exactly what the spending is doing to the plan. And so this is how saving becomes practical. You save by watching the month while it's still happening and making small corrections early enough to matter. The running total keeps the target in front of you. So you'll become someone who knows where the month stands. You won't need stress to remind you to check the numbers. You already have a daily practice and a daily place where the truth shows up. And your daily tracker should be also connected to the budget, not separate from it, right? The daily entries should feed the monthly totals, and the monthly totals should compare against the planned constants. That connection is really what makes the spreadsheet useful. Use the same category names in the tracker that you used in the budget. If the budget says food, transport, subscriptions, personal, business, and debt payments, then the tracker should use the same categories, the same labels. Each category should show planned amount, actual amount, and remaining amount. That way you can actually see whether the category is healthy, tight, or already over the limit. And the remaining amount is the signal. If it's high, you have room. If it's low, then you should slow down. If it's negative, then you need to adjust another category or accept that the month is over the plan. And then track the savings target too. If the target is 500, then the sheet should show whether that 500 has been moved, protected, or slowly eaten by overspending. Savings should not be whatever is left after the month happens. If anything, you should be paying yourself first. So move savings early if your situation allows for it. And if you wait until the end of the month, the money may be gone. So if you move it early, the rest of the plan has to actually adjust around your savings target. And don't touch them. After you've put them away, you can't touch them. Do anything else but touch the savings. And this is how you stay on track. The budget sets the direction, the daily tracker shows the movement, the calendar shows you when, and the running total tells you whether you need to speed up, slow down, or change the plan. Now, with that said, let's cover monthly control. So at the end of each month, you do a full money review. A review of what happened, what worked, what did not work, and what needs to change for the next month. Compare planned spending against your actual spending in each category. Fixed costs should be close to exact, Variable constants will show you where the plan worked and where the number needs more room or a better boundary. And if food was planned at 1,000, let's say, and it came at 1,200, that's useful. If eating out was planned at 500 and it came at 700, that's even more useful. The difference points to the next decision. Now, one strange month doesn't define your life, right? 3 months in a row is a pattern, though. This is why the review gets more valuable the longer you keep doing it. And then compare your planned income against your actual income as well. I think that's even more useful. Many people only review spending, but income is half the picture. A good plan needs to know whether the money coming in is reliable enough to actually support the money going out. So if income was lower than expected, the next plan needs to reflect that. And if income was higher than expected, then assign the extra before it goes into random spending. Now, after the review, update the constants for the next month. The plan gets more accurate as the numbers become clearer and as you stack more data. So some categories may need to go up. If a category is genuinely too low for your real life, pretending otherwise creates frustration and repeated overspending. It's better to be accurate and in control regardless of how your ego feels about it. A realistic budget is better than a strict budget that doesn't work every month. So if your transport, food, health costs, or business expenses are consistently higher, the number needs to respect that. The money has to come from somewhere. So raising one category means lowering another category, saving less, earning more, or accepting a different timeline. The trade-off is the value of clarity. You can finally see the cost of each decision, which means some categories may need to go down. If your spending is higher than your goals allow, then choose the categories that can actually be reduced. The goal is alignment. You may decide to spend less on eating out or entertainment, subscriptions, personal purchases, convenience spending. Pick the areas that give the most savings with the least damage to your real life. That's what makes the plan easier to repeat. Then keep the calendar connected to the spreadsheet, right? Bills, subscription dates, paydays, saving transfers, debt payments, weekly reviews, the monthly reset, all of those belong to where you can actually see them. If it affects your money, it belongs in the calendar. Now the calendar shows timing. The spreadsheet shows your totals. Together, they show you what is coming and what is happening. On payday, assign money immediately. Bills, savings, debt payments, planned categories, and buffer all get their place. Money that sits around unassigned is really easy to spend without noticing. So choose one weekly review day and one monthly reset day. Now, where possible, make the right payments and transfers happen automatically. Saving transfers, debt payments, predictable bills, all of these can reduce mental load. This works best after the numbers are correct though, so do not make everything automatic before the plan is clear. The automatic movement needs to match the numbers. Clear numbers come first. Even automatic payments need checking though, so the daily tracker and calendar keep you aware without forcing you to manage every movement from memory. That's the balance you want. And by the end of 30 days, you want one clear answer. Is your current life financially sustainable? If the money gap is negative, then the next focus should be correction. Cut the lowest value expenses, cancel what doesn't matter, and look seriously at your income. The goal is to stop the monthly loss first. A negative gap needs action. Once you can name the exact amount you're short, the problem becomes specific enough to work on, right? So if you're short 400 a month, you know the target. You need 400 less in expenses, 400 more in income, or a mix of both, possibly more than that too. Now, if the monthly gap is around 0, then you're surviving, but you're not building anything, right? That means that one expense can actually push the month into stress. The next focus is really creating margin. So start with a small target. Even a small monthly buffer will change the feeling of your finances. Break even isn't necessarily bad, but it puts you in a fragile place. You want the plan to create space so one normal problem doesn't turn into a crisis. Now, if the monthly gap is positive, then the next focus is assignment and increase. You try to increase the positive gap and assign it to a job. It could be savings, it could be debt payoff, it could be investing, it could be emergency fund, it could be business growth. All of those should be decided before the month actually begins. Now, surplus money shouldn't float around without a purpose because you'll spend it, especially if you've been undisciplined with your finances. So if there's no emergency fund, build one. If high interest debt is draining you, then attack that. If the basics are stable, then you can start investing or put the money in a business. By the way, if you want help turning your numbers into an actual clear plan, this is a natural place to book a call from the link in the description. Some people can do it alone. Some people move a lot faster with some guidance. Now, the real win is not one good month though, right? The real win is a repeatable month. A repeatable month becomes a repeatable year. A repeatable year is where your finances actually start changing. So at the start of each month, update the constants, check the calendar, confirm your income, set the savings target, and make sure the tracker is ready. This should be a normal reset every month. Each month teaches you something, so you learn which categories are too low, which habits are costing you, which income sources are reliable, and which goals are actually realistic. After a few iterations, it will feel like you're doing it on autopilot and you won't worry about money ever again. So stability comes from repetition. You need one clear process that you keep improving. Now, after 30 days, you should know your recurring costs, your fixed baseline, your variable constants, your monthly income, your savings target, your financial gap, and your daily tracking rhythm. That's the foundation. Now, you may not be rich after 30 days. That's not the promise. The promise is that you'll no longer be guessing where your finances are going and what's happening. Once the foundation is in place, then investing, debt payoff, business growth, and bigger wealth goals become much easier to handle. You finally know what the month can actually support. So with that said, let's cover the review. We talked about the overview, financial visibility, monthly constants, daily tracking, monthly control, the review, and finally your action items for the day or the next few days. First, open your accounts and create the spreadsheet today. Pull the last 60 to 90 days of transactions, list every subscription, fixed bill, variable category, and income source, and get the real numbers in one place. Don't wait for the perfect template before you start. Then turn every repeatable part of your financial life into a planned monthly number. Fixed costs get listed, variable categories get constants, income gets entered conservatively, and the gap gets calculated before the month even begins. And then finally, open the spreadsheet every single day and enter what came in and what went out. And if nothing came in or out, then make sure to still open the spreadsheet. Watch the running totals, compare them to the plan, and adjust while there's still time. That daily visibility is really how the 30-day reset turns into a month you can actually manage. With that said, I hope this brought a lot of value. I hope it helps you. If you enjoyed this video, let me know. If you want to work with me one-on-one, make sure to book a call from the link in the description. If you want this training with its document, then make sure to join the free community from the link in the description. And if you want weekly newsletters showing you how to improve every aspect of your life, then make sure to join the free newsletter from the link in the description. With that said, thanks for watching, thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next